Hello and welcome to Business Talks. Business Talks is a special series by Founder India. And in this series, we will showcase some business leaders from various industries, various sectors who will share insights from their industry, and we will talk about the relevant stories, news stories about them. Today, we have a very special guest with us. We have Vikram Rangala. Vikram Rangala is CMO of ZebPay, an amazing exchange for cryptocurrencies. And ZebPay is doing great since 2014, if I'm not wrong. Let's go straight to Vikram and let's know what ZebPay is all about. And Vikram, you need to tell us how this ZebPay is different from other exchanges as well.
Sure. We're one of India's oldest and most widely used exchanges. Very proud to be here since 2014 when our three founders started the company in Ahmedabad. We now have offices in Ahmedabad and Mumbai, but our people are all over the world now and all over India. We're proud to say that about 2/3 of all Indian crypto investors bought their first Bitcoin on ZebPay. And so we continue to try to take that seriously. Our mission in the future is that we want Bitcoin to be in the hands of every single Indian, or at least available to every single Indian, not just the wealthy few, not a few techno people or people who are active investors. Just ordinary middle class, working class people. Everyone should be part of this revolution. So our mission is really to spread Bitcoin and Ether far and wide to everybody and help to democratize access. For ZebPay, it's been since 2014, so almost it'll be our 7th year now. And we're one of the first, we say we're the oldest. Unicoin may be tied with us for the oldest. We started around the same time.
So Vikram, when did your journey in Bitcoin and in cryptocurrencies started? Because if I'm not wrong, you come from a stock exchange and equity kind of background, and then you moved to cryptocurrencies. When did that happen? Please tell us about that.
I have to confess, I was not active. I was interested in Bitcoin, but it was our CEO, Rahul Pagidipati, who contacted me in 2017 and said, dude, you've got to get into Bitcoin now. You've been sitting around for too long. And he pushed me. I'm actually a trader, but I was mainly involved in futures and options trading for the last 20 years or so. I'm based, I was born in Tamil Nadu, but I've lived in the US most of my life, and I'm based in Chicago. So the Chicago Board of Trade is kind of the center of futures and options trading in the world. And so I was a futures trader, not mainly by profession, but I have been doing that. So I'm familiar with trading for a long, long time and crypto trading just for the last 3 years. So, you know, things like the S&P stock index futures, bonds, even soybean futures, cocoa, orange juice, those kind of things. So a lot of commodities, I used to trade those.
We are also working on that, on those lines, and we are also trying to help the normal traders, equity traders, and investors to learn what cryptocurrency is all about, how to trade and invest in cryptocurrencies. And I don't know if you know about that, but we are streaming a live show, which is Crypto Live, which is India's first live crypto trading show, and that show is quite buzzing all across the fraternity.
One of the things I really enjoy about your Crypto Live program is that you bring technical analysis to the price charts of crypto. And that I think is really important. I'm a technical analyst. I believe in technical analysis, and I've been doing it for, more than a decade. And a chart is a chart. You can apply those same skills. If you were a technical analyst in equities or anything else, you can bring that skill set to your crypto trading and apply it successfully. So I think it's great what you guys do.
Thank you so much for that appreciation. In fact, that's the idea. We intend to bring this cryptocurrency into mainstream in India, at least, as an people should know that this is one new tool to invest or trade with, and that's why this show, Crypto Live.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a new asset class, but people shouldn't treat it like a game or like gambling. That's why you guys talk about it in serious terms, the way that CNBC might talk about stocks or something like that. Actually, probably more seriously in some ways. And that's how people should approach it. They should look at the price chart. They should analyze, not just, too many people, unfortunately, they enter the space with, oh, my cousin, he bought some, crypto and he made some money, so I'm going to try it again myself. And that's all they do. They don't get the education. We are always telling our members, slow down. We don't want people trading too fast. Invest in education first is something we're constantly saying. It's important.
Vikram, you've been into trading and investment since long, and you switched over from F&Os and that kind of trading, equity trading, to cryptocurrencies. But here we see high volatility in all the coins, major coins at least. And recently, Bitcoin touched 60,000 mark. What is your take on that?
It's kind of inevitable. Another media outlet asked me about this morning, and I decided I'm just going to answer them honestly. So I said, frankly speaking, I'm not that excited. We had, in our company WhatsApp group, in our Signal group, everybody was sending these rocket emojis and in the chat groups, like 60,000, we finally hit it. And I was like, yeah, 60,000, that's great and all. It's going to happen. And it's important not to get too excited about the highs, too dejected about the lows. You have to have, trading. You have to have a certain amount of emotional control. So the 60,000 is a welcome milestone. We'll probably see higher, and we'll probably see it dip. What goes up must come down. So you need a strategy that's a mature strategy for being able to take those drawdowns and all of that. But for the larger picture, it means that this is not just a fad. This is not just a short-term, new internet thing, TikTok or something like that. This is serious companies adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet for the long term as a reserve asset. Tesla is not a stupid company. So when they put $2 billion of Bitcoin on their balance sheet, they know what they're doing. And so do so many other companies. Some of them are in the headlines. Some of them are probably doing it very quietly. But the 60,000 reflects a lot of that institutional investment as well, which is why it's important that India, not stay back in this. I call it the Bitcoin gap. We estimated, given that so many people have started their Bitcoin journey through ZebPay, we kind of have access to data that allows us to take an educated guess as to how much of the world's Bitcoin is in Indian hands. And we estimate that less than 1% of the world's Bitcoin.
So Vikram, here I would like to know, as an investor or as a trader, what should I do? Should I be all gaga about this, that okay, the Bitcoin is going up or roaring like that and skyrocket kind of stuff that you just mentioned? Or should I be cautious that, okay, it is too high, it is too expensive, and maybe I should refrain from investing any further? What should I do now?
Yeah, never be gaga. I'm sure you expected me to answer that. You can, with caution and a plan. So obviously buying at a high, you should always be prepared for the correction. So we recommend for most people strategy called rupee cost averaging. Cost averaging means that you'll buy, it's like an SIP. You buy, say, 100 rupees a day, every day, regardless of the price, and just keep doing that over time, maybe over a year, maybe even for several years. Just put your money away. That way, let's say you buy now at 60,000. It may go up to 70,000. So you bought it all the way up to 70,000, and then it may tank. It may go down to 40,000. You keep buying 100 rupees a day all the way down 40, 60, 50, 40, all the way and in between. When you've done that, over time, what you have done is, by getting the average price, you've gotten the average price that is probably the best price you could have gotten. And you've done it without trying to guess what is the high, what is the low, and dealing with all of that emotion. So without having to go into all of that, which is speculation really, and it's speculation of the worst, of the most difficult kind. So rather than do that, rupee cost averaging is not only a low stress way to do it, it also tends to get you a better average price.
So Vikram, what is your advice for those who are already invested in Bitcoin? If I am if I already have Bitcoin, should I remain invested or should I start booking some of my profits? What should I do now?
It depends on your long-term strategy. Since this is a very strategy focused show, I'll bend my usual rule of never giving trading advice. I'm still not going to give trading advice, and I hope you know whatever I say should be taken as just an opinion, and you should only trade with risk capital. All of that disclaimer applies to anything I say. But having said that, I think it depends on your strategy. If you bought at 20,000 and your goal was to make a short-term profit, well, you've tripled your money. It may be for you the right thing, but there the risk is that you will sell at 60,000 only to see it go shooting up to some other higher price. So be prepared for that FOMO of saying, oh man, I sold at 60,000 and now it's gone to 80. I should have stayed. You may have that regret. You may decide to hold on at 60,000 thinking, oh, I'm going to get 70 out of this. I'm just going to hold on a little longer. It may reverse on you. It may go down to 40. Then you face the regret of, oh, I could have gotten out at 60 and instead now I've lost $20,000 or lost, that much of it, two-thirds of my value. Every risk you take has a downside. The only strategy you can be sure of is, are you prepared for your downside? That's why, even if you trade short term with part of your money, I would suggest that you keep some of your Bitcoin for the long term. I mean long term, like 2030, 2035, 2040. Keep it for years and think about, keeping some Bitcoin aside for your grandchildren, for your retirement, for your kids' college fund, depending on, what your station in life is right now. Have that long-term plan in mind. If you are just trying to make a quick profit, I'm not sure I can give you any advice because regardless of what anybody tells you, nobody knows what the price of Bitcoin is going to be tomorrow. Nobody does. And I'm a very experienced, considered to be a fairly expert trader and analyst. I'm a professional. And even I will tell you honestly, I don't know what the price of Bitcoin is going to be, and really nobody else does either.
Vikram, while you mentioned that we should restrain ourselves as in the investors and those traders, they should do some bit of averaging and be cautious here because this is pretty high and they should not get into that FOMO kind of situation where they would keep on jumping into it, buying more of it and do more of hoarding kind of stuff with this, expecting even bigger returns. While there is another situation here in India where we see that government is throwing out some mixed signals. So things are jittery here. I understand, I hope you understand that stuff, that people still need that clarity that, okay, what is going to be the future of cryptocurrencies in India? And how do you see sitting there in ZebPay Chicago office? How do you see all this stuff? And what is your opinion on this? What do you expect from the government?
If I say it's not scary, people will think I'm putting on an acting brave. So I recognize that, but honestly, no. It would be concerning for me if India took that step of trying to ban it or overly restrict it. Not because it'd be bad for ZebPay. We're actually pretty financially sound. We could last for a while through a ban and be okay. But it would be bad for India. It'd be bad for the industry as a whole. And it would be bad for all those entrepreneurs in the blockchain space who have brilliant ideas, want to do things like, for example, if you know the crypto token Matic, that's a make in India protocol, and it's $1 billion company now. Matic is it's a beast. It's such a great innovation. And it's not the only one that's out there. There are plenty of other Indian entrepreneurs ready to create those. So I don't think such a ban could last for very long. I think there would be immediately legal challenges. And I think there would be immediately a lot of stakeholders, not just crypto exchanges, but mainstream investors, even companies that want to innovate in the technology space using blockchain. It's very difficult to use blockchain without having a crypto token to power that blockchain. And so just in practical terms, try to enforce a ban on something it'd be like trying to enforce a ban on email or the internet itself. in practical terms, it would cost a lot to enforce. And instead of expending that cost, it'd be better to just collect tax revenue and let it go on in a safe way.
So Vikram, well, you mentioned the risks involved if India at all thinks of stopping this phenomena, the cryptocurrency phenomenon. But what is in store for India if, let's say, government considers something which is very positive for this sector, and then we have cryptocurrencies all legalized, all maybe even someday it becomes a legal tender as well. But what is the potential like? What is India gonna miss if we don't do this?
Our position is that it should not interfere with legal tender. Our CEO Rahul Pagdipati is a lawyer as well, and so he believes strongly that every country has the right to a certain degree of sovereignty over their fiat currency. They have a right to issue a national currency and not have people trying to issue their own currencies that they don't want to use it. You need it for a certain level of a lot of practical things, including taxation, including just national unity. So we're not trying to push for that. However, as an asset class, if we can have this kind of regulation, then it would unleash a whole lot of opportunities, including things like access to financial resources, like access to credit. A lot of women do not have access to easy lending products. They have to get permission, for example, to get a loan. Things like that happen. That can be, it creates inequality. And Bitcoin was designed to fight inequality and fight poverty. So I think you would see a whole lot of new initiatives like decentralized finance that will give access to the unbanked, give access to people to the poor, to people who need to send remittances, for example, in an easy way where you don't need a bank's permission to do so, or a man's permission, quite frankly.
Thank you, Vikram, for all those insights. In fact, once government comes up with clear signals and we have some clarity on the regulations in India around cryptocurrencies, we would like to come back to you and take your help in going ahead with the trading and investments in cryptocurrencies.
Happy to join. Yeah, don't. I think the finance minister's comments were reserved but positive, and I think we can see it as a positive sign and a step forward.
On that positive note, thank you so much for giving us time today, Vikram. We'll come back to you again and seek your advice for cryptocurrency trading and investments. Thank you so much.
See you again soon. Thanks, Alex.